Hey guys, welcome back to Barry's Corner. It's Emily here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys all the books that I read in December. A new setup. I don't know. I've been playing around with the lighting of my videos, the quality of my videos, everything really. But let me know if you like this. I don't know. It's kind of bland. I don't know. But I read 8 books in December, which usually compared to my last December, which was about 14 books, really sucks. However, compared to the books that I've been reading every month recently, which is 4 to 5 books, it's a step up. So I'm so excited to share these books with you, especially since most of them are 4 and 5 stars, like almost all of them. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. All of my social links are down in the description box below, as well as my Amazon wishlist if you would like to gift me a book. Now let's get on into the video. Most of these books I read for a reading vlog or a readathon, so I just wanted to let you know I won't be going too in depth in all of these, but the first one is Muted by Tammy Charles. I absolutely adored this book. It is sort of like a contemporary novel turned thriller, and it's basically about a girl named Denver, and music and songwriting is her whole entire life. She has a little group with her 2 best friends, and she goes and meets this biggest R&B star in the world named Mercury, and he takes an interest in them, and he brings them to parties and recording studios, and they do anything for him. They will lie for him, and it's all worth it until one day it's not. And as I said, thriller. I enjoyed this book so much. I loved reading about Denver and seeing her perspective. And I also really, well, first of all, trigger warning for sexual assault, abuse, gaslighting. Look up the trigger warnings for sure. But I also really loved how this book was told in verse. I felt very connected to these characters because it kind of reminded me of Elizabeth Acevedo's writing, who is the author that wrote The Poet X and Clap When You Land. And I really felt connected because Elizabeth writes about Hispanics and Afro-Latinx, and these people are Afro-Latinxes as well. I'm Hispanic, and so there were so many different aspects that was literally just my childhood in a bottle. Like, they were like, oh yeah, we use Fabuloso, but the lavender scented kind, because it's not cleaning unless you have the lavender scented kind. And I was like, this is my childhood in a bottle. So I absolutely adored it. 5 out of 5 stars. Highly recommend you pick this up. The next book that I read for the Marian Bright Readathon, I also really enjoyed. It is Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. I first heard about this from Noel Gallagher here on BookTube, and it just caught my interest. It's basically about a teenage pregnancy that pulls 2 African American families from different social classes together. At first, I really thought it would just follow the main teenage girl, and it spans over the course of 16 years. But then when you actually get into it, it kind of follows everybody in the family, but mostly the father and the mother. And it basically shows where their priorities lie and how that leads them to play a certain role in the family. You hate some characters, not hate, but you're very disappointed in some characters. You love some characters, especially those that didn't really want the pregnancy. Not that they didn't want it, but it was very unexpected to them. And so I absolutely loved it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The reason I knocked it down a 0.5 star is because there are certain chapters where you don't really know who's talking. As I said, it follows everybody in the family, and they don't really tell you who you're following, so you kind of have to like guess at it. And some of the chapters, I'm like, who are we following right now? So it docked a 0.5, but overall, so absolutely moving. Moving to the 24-hour readathon that I did. Again, if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts about these books, like while I was reading them, it'll be in the cards somewhere up here. But the first book that I read for that is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think thrillers really mesh with me. I feel like all the thrillers that I've ever read, I only give them a 4 stars, which is not a bad rating. But this was so, like, everybody loved this book and I only gave it a 4 stars. I don't know. I need to find a thriller that just clicks with me. But basically it's about a girl, and she is nannying for a weird house and weird children, and then she's writing somebody from jail, and it's like, hey, I wasn't a great nanny, but I absolutely did not murder this child. And I enjoyed where it led me. I feel like the first parts of the book, not everything really happened, like it wasn't very thrilling, but it still felt very eerie. And then once you get to the plot twist, you're like, holy plot twist, that was insane. But I also felt like it was very subtle, and I felt like the ending really grabbed your attentions with the letter. I felt like it was good. I thought it was good. Please give me thriller recommendations. I gave it a 4 to 5 stars. It was okay. It was good. I'm sorry if the lighting's like going in and out. I don't know. But the only Christmassy book that I read this December, The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. Goodness gracious, how much I love this book. This is a Christmas Carol retelling about this girl named Holly Chase, and instead of Scrooge, it's her getting visited by the ghosts of past, present, and future. They want to make her a better person, but of course she doesn't turn into one, so she becomes a ghost to help other people. It is so fun, fresh, like so childish, but not immature. It just gives you the joy that childlike beings bring you. I don't even know if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. But it is so fun. Like, I feel like I can't give you another explanation for this book because it really just brings out the best sides of you. It was Christmas in a bottle. It literally just was a non-stop read. You can't put it down. Even if it wasn't read in a 24-hour readathon, I definitely would have read it all in one day. So great. I cannot think of another word than fun because it's just perfect. Moving on to a translated work, The White Book by Hong Kong. This is the exploration of the color white through grief, and I, of course, really enjoyed this book. It was a reread for me. It was so nice seeing the author's grief for the sister that she never really knew, and then also to hear how if her sister was born, she would have never been born, but she still wants her sister to be with her. She still wants a sisterly figure. She just wants that love and connection that she feels like she would have had. And then she also talks about her family's grief. And then she also talks about how, like, different things that are white, like the environment or just doors. This is really random, but just how it all connects to her grief. It's very amazing, so cool, so easy and simplistic because it is a very short novel. I feel like it's so easy for anybody that's really trying to get into translated works or into more sophisticated works, I guess. I don't know. Loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. So good. Did I tell you that I gave The Afterlife of Holly Chase a 5 out of 5 stars? I don't know if that was apparent, but I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The last book that I read in the 24-hour readathon, I don't physically have with me. It is Stargirl. Everybody reads this when they're a child, and it's basically about this little girl coming into this school, and she's very, very weird. People don't really like her, but they do at first, and then they don't, and then people tell her to change who she is, and the overall message is that you shouldn't change who you are to appease other people, appeal to other people. It was so good. It was so, again, just like The Afterlife of Holly Chase, so childish, but not immature. Just has that childlike feeling, and it was so, so good. I don't think it was the most amazing book in the world, but I definitely think that it's such a value for children to read. I would have loved it when I was a child, so I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I kind of want it on my shelves now. The last 2 books I didn't read for a reading vlog, so don't worry, they'll be completely new to you. The first one is Perfect Little Flaws by Jennifer Ann Shore. This is an independently published book, so I didn't really know what to expect going into it. It's basically follows a girl named Marin, and her brother died. He was a really good soccer player, and then in comes Vince Novak, and he's a soccer player as well. He transfers to her school, and he's beating all of the accomplishments that her brother had won. So she's like, I gotta stay away from this guy, but they kind of get into all these situations where they can't stay away from each other, and then she realizes, like, oh, I kind of like this guy. He's super sweet. I really liked Vince Novak. I felt like because of the hard topics that were addressed, if this was like an enemies to lovers book, it would not have worked. He was such like a cherished character. Like, he was so sweet to her. He was so sweet in general. She was also very nice. Like, you could see that it was a bit standoffish, but she was very sweet to him. I liked their connection. It did read a little bit young, on the younger side. I don't know if it's because I've been reading a lot of adult romances recently, but even for a young adult, I felt like it was a little bit young. I thought it was cute. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't amazing, but definitely a cool read if you're trying to support independent authors. Now, the last book was very, very, very unexpected for me. It is All This Time by the authors that wrote 5 Feet Apart. It was very unexpected because I did not expect to read this in December at all whatsoever. Also, it's unexpected because this is about a guy named Kyle, and he has a girlfriend named Kimberly, and on his graduation night, she drops a bomb on him and was like, hey, I kind of don't want to be together anymore after years and years of dating. He loved her since the 3rd grade. And then right after that, they get in a car accident. He wakes up with a brain injury, and Kimberly dead, and it just goes through all his stages of grief. And then he meets a girl named Marley, and Marley is also going through a loss of her own, and she's helping him with his grief, and he's helping her with hers. And it was so cool to see all of that, but it was very unexpected for another reason, because holy plot twist, the plot twist is so, you just don't expect it. I feel like with thrillers and all that, you expect this big plot twist, but you just don't expect it. But now that I told you, you might expect it, so don't expect it. Just forget what I just said, but big plot twist. It was also a lot heavier than I thought. This is a YA novel, so it doesn't go into anything like super gruesome or anything, but he does have hallucinations, and it's just, you know, he's going through grief, and it was crazy. I just felt like it would focus more on the romance aspects, which it does, but I just didn't think it would be as heavy as it was. It was a good read. It was a good read. I loved the writing. I felt like it tied into 5 Feet Apart very well. Like it was just familiar, and I loved that about it. There was an end of story conflict that I didn't really absolutely love. I was glad that Marley got her conclusion. I don't know if that makes sense, but it wasn't necessary. So I gave this book a 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I loved Kyle's character development. I loved Marley's character development before and after the plot twist. And I really loved the family dynamics. I felt like in contemporary novels, it's not very usual for a mother and a son to have a good relationship, but their relationship was so awesome. He talked to her about everything and the friendships as well. It was so good. I loved it. I really did. And truly, if you liked We Were Liars, you will love this book. I feel like it has similar vibes. They're not like the same plot, but similar vibes. I think if you like We Were Liars, you will definitely like this book. So these were all the books that I read in December. Such a good reading month, like just 5-star after 5-star after 5-star, like genuinely such good reads. I recommend almost all of these to you. I think they're just such good reads. I love them so much. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you read in December, and I hope that your 2022 is amazing. Bye!